Well, it says that I am currently streaming. So let's bring the Smithy into focus. And at this point, it looks good here. Let's see what we got. Fire-wise, all right. This is where I get to then do this instead. We go here. And instead of chat video being that, let's use a nice little tool I have here. There we go. Make this a little bigger. In the corner here. And now I can zoom in on the fire. And now we have two different views. And soon I'm going to be able to show 3 different views. Won't that be cool? All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from around the world. I've already got the pixies fired up a little bit here. And I was watching John Switzer of Black Bear Forge on Facebook. I'm a big fan of his, and a Patreon supporter. And he had asked the question of whether or not he should do more simple projects or continue with the more complex projects that he's been doing, because he did a simple project. And he got me thinking and realizing I can always start my live streams with a simple project and then move over to a more complex project. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go with, this simple project that Alex Steele says everybody should do, which is making a leaf keychain. So get some more things set up here. You'll see I changed cameras. Things should look a lot better now. They seem to look better to me on the Mac on the side here, where I'm actually able to see myself. In other words, it looks brighter, which I just couldn't get done with the GoPro. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on the GoPro. It just means I'm doing something a little different with the GoPro. Now, to see if I can find the kit that allows me to do this little something different. And that's the wrong kit. Let me check inside here. Well, it looks like I left the kit elsewhere. So I'm going to get a little creative. Come out here, grab ourselves another tripod. This is my grandfather's tripod. Makes me think of him every time. There we go. Now, let's see if I can get this in a place that does us some good. And allows me to actually run the cables where I need them to go. The folks who bring you great content like John and Alec and Daniel Moss and, you know, so many others out there. There is so much effort put into camera placement, editing, scripting. That's why at this point, right at the moment, I'm spending my time doing live streams rather than those activities. No other reason than that. It's sheer laziness on my part. You know, they're doing a lot of work to bring you that great content. So there's a good reason why they ask you to support them on Patreon. John was saying in that video that I mentioned that, you know, just to bring you the one video takes him 30 hours, and most of that isn't blacksmithing. So you're getting to see a little bit of the behind the scenes magic by watching me build this out little by little each week, to the point where I feel like I'll have enough different ways of capturing this stuff that I can then you know, start editing the live stream perhaps and bringing it into a more succinct way of presenting it. Get a little bit of, make a little noise on my mic, a little bit of fire protection here. Every time I put this on, I think of Mr. Rogers and think to myself, it's not a cardigan, but it is a kind of, what's the right word? Not tradition. When you have certain activities you do, religion is well known for doing this, but you know, practices that one goes through that feel a little bit sacred. So every time I put this on, I think of Mr. Rogers, and I'm inviting all of you to be part of my neighborhood. Lots of angry pixies. All right. Let's go ahead and double check that I have power. I do have power. That means my Mac shouldn't shut off on me while we're doing this. And let's go ahead and see if we can get this GoPro ready for use. Which involves connecting it via HDMI to USB-C, some extra little dongles and things, and run it around the water barrel so that I can actually use the water barrel without worrying I'm going to trip over a cable. All the movie magic, ladies and gents. All right, let's see that cam link come on. There it is. It's on. So if I switch to here, where are you? There you are. And I go properties, and I say that, and then for fun, switch back to that. That was my last week's fun. If you weren't here, we had a serious weather advisory here. Fortunately, we did not have the horrible wind storms that the Mideast suffered, but we did have some pretty bad gustiness going on. So let's see. What does it say I'm looking at? It says that I'm looking at an anvil. That's good. That's where I want it. Cool, cool. So there you see it, ladies and gents. That's what it takes to get this set up in here. I was thinking about using a special arm type thing, but you know what? I like this. I might end up just using the double tripod situation. Bring Grandpa's tripod into my Smithy's presentation. And as you can see, this is the shepherd's hook I've been working on. I'm just putting it out of the way. Hopefully not poke myself in the eye. And we've got some hot coals in there, so it's time to throw some metal in. And it's been a while since I've done one of these keychain with a leaf on the end. I cannot for the life of me remember if 1/4 inch is big enough to pull it off. Look at that. I got a 1/4 inch just sitting here in the barrel waiting for me to use it for something. All right. I'm going to file off the rag on this thing. I need to make myself some vise tools that make it so that it stays square, the jaws stay square. There we go. I'm going to bring you around to see that. I'm turning that. No, it wasn't turning that. Turning this. There we go. You see the work I'm doing there. And what's really fun is I can now do this as well. Grab one of my files. I'm going to switch these around so you can see that better. Let's see what it is I'm working on. So I have this one piece of steel that I had cut off, or it broke off, or something of that nature. And the other piece is just there to make it so that the jaws don't go out of whack. But I'm going to go ahead and file that mess off. Hurt everybody's ears in the process. Let me go ahead and turn that down for a minute. If I don't file it, what'll end up happening is I'll end up getting breakage in the metal as I work it. And that would be bad. Wasteful anyway. Yep. My twisting wrench, which I don't need at the moment, but I also don't want in my barrel. There we go. Switch back over to, oh, look at that. I've got some folks on chat already. Good morning, good evening. My love, what I'm talking about is the black case that has all of the GoPro accessory stuff for either wearing the GoPro or... I'm just now reading it. I'm reading it now. I know. Oh, that's right. I turned it way down. Can you hear me now? There we go. The kit that I'm talking about, love, is the black case that has the GoPro accessories in it for being able to wear the GoPro. So it's in the house somewhere. I'm not worried about it. I'm using Grandpa's tripod, it's working out perfect for where I need to point it. That is my beloved wife on there. All right, that should do it for cleaning that up so I won't have a problem. No cold shuts. No cold shuts means less likelihood of cracking. Now, I watched Hanneman this week post something about making a leaf, not keychain, but ring. Thought that was pretty cool too. I'll have to give that a try at some point. And it may very well be that 1/4 inch is better for that than making a keychain, but we're going to find out. Unfortunately, I don't have any larger stock right now except for in round, unless I make some out of the many railroad spikes that I bought off of eBay. I've got some larger round stock here. I've got some flat stock. But as far as square stock's concerned, all I've got is the 1/4 inch. So we're just going to go with it. Get her into the hot spot here. Now, there we go. I put a big old chunk of charcoal in there when I was first starting it up, just so things could start baking it. Now I'm breaking it up so I can actually put it to use. I need my tool rest so that it'll actually stay in the fire the way I want it to. Now, where did I put that? Tool rest. Woo-hoo. Sorry, I've been listening to K-pop this morning, so it's all stuck in my head. You guys get to suffer. Sorry. Well, when I'm talking about tool rest, in case those folks are like, what is that thing behind you if not a tool rest? Oh, let's change the view here to where it's actually going to suit us. Now, we're getting gusty today. We don't have a weather advisory for it, though, I don't think. Well, maybe that's what my wife was trying to say to me. No, that was last week. That she just didn't catch that at that part. I'm going to have to put something to keep my enclosure's door from swinging open over and over again. So, 1 second while I do that. That should do the trick. My little ash bin. This is why you should always put your tools back where you got them from. Because now I have no idea where my little tool rest went. No, what I was saying is, yes, I know this is a tool rest, but that's not the tool rest I'm speaking of. There's this little bar, and when I say little, it's very little, like 1/8 inch round, that sits in the V of the forge here that can let you lift up some of your material. I guess I'm going to have to use this, the good old-fashioned tool rest that I made. Throw that there. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Let's start warming this thing up. I mean, it's already been getting warm. First rule of blacksmithing. If people know what the first rule of blacksmithing is, you'll get a kudos from me if you type it in the chat. I'll let you know what it is in a moment. But it's extremely vital you know what the first rule of blacksmithing is. Huh, really? I even told it to change that. Let me go and update the title again. It claims it updated it. We'll have to wait and see. It seems like everything's working okay. Am I right, dear? Do you get to see the everything in the right places? Oh, that's funny. I didn't see that little chat video window shrunk, which isn't really a chat video window now. It's my fire. There we go. Let me get out of the way of and now you can see the fire. What's really nice is now I actually have this mode, which makes it easy for me to see the chat window. Of course, now let me get this selected, go here. Doesn't seem all that useful to you because I'm not pointing at face, but when I do want to stand here and do a lot of chatting, I can do that. Let's go back to the anvil though, and the fire. And let's get those pixies angry enough to let me move metal. How did that wire get all around everything? That's what wire does. It gets all around everything. It never stays where it's supposed to be. We'll go ahead and throw some more coal on top so that the fire doesn't die down. Charcoal, that is. Go. Get a feel for where we're at. Oh yeah, we're getting some good temperature. I'm not ready to actually forge yet. I could forge it at that temperature, but it wouldn't be as effective. Lots of angry pixies. Try not to catch any of them in my eye. It is a gray morning today. We're in the 40s this morning here. It's supposed to warm up into the low 50s, so saith Alexa. I don't know if I believe her. Thankfully, we're coming up on Yule, where we finally start. See, now that got nice and hot, but in the wrong place. Actually, that's not in the wrong place for what I need to do first. No, it is. That's way too far back. Let's go ahead and pull it forward then, now that I know where the heat of the fire is at the moment. But yeah, it'll be nice to have the days start getting longer again. We've got a few more days of the days getting shorter. Whatever holiday it is you celebrate this time of year, I wish you and yours the best. Everybody has a holiday this time of year for obvious reasons of the day getting longer in some parts of the world and day getting shorter in other parts of the world. We like to celebrate those things as humanity. All right, let's go ahead and just put a sharp taper on there. Move that taper to the center. Get it all sorts of bent out of shape. That might not work. It really does look like it's too thin to pull this off. We're going to find out though. Okay. Straighten everything up. We'll see. Got to be careful not to burn the tip off of that. Matter of fact, let's do this. I'm just cooling that off. And then we'll heat back up again. Hopefully the area behind it will be heated up faster. This stuff tends to heat fast, 1/4 inch. It's one of the best reasons to start the whole show with an easy project, right? You actually get to see something happening. Yeah, it's already warming up. We're getting a dark cherry red. Inside the forge, I don't know if you can see it very well, but we've got ourselves a nice bright yellow. I went ahead and made a short tweer this time, since I don't need, there we go. Let's see how nice and easy that. Now, somebody I watched recently said, do your rounded set down on the close side of the anvil instead of the far side, have a less of a likeliness to create a cold shut and therefore breaking off your leaf. And I can say that is a much less sharp transition. I'm going to go ahead and now come to the far side and thin out this next section about 1 inch maybe. Now mind you, this might actually work out pretty well actually. It'll get longer for that inch, so it may not even be 1 inch when I'm done. I'm kind of afraid of quenching it. The rapid changes of temperature, I mean, it's not a tool steel, so it shouldn't matter, but I am kind of concerned, so I'm not going to do it. Go ahead and break up some of this big stuff. There we go. Pull it forward. But like I said, I've got this the tweer set to a 2, so that's a very short fire. But I've left it set such that I could actually put it open to 3 or maybe even 4 to you know, be able to get some different areas of my bar warm. There we go. It's always exciting to see the fire come poofing up through. It was there the whole time, it just... Yeah, it's getting good. Come over to this side of the anvil. I do agree. I think that really makes a big difference. We'll see how the leaf turns out now. My son has the perfect shirt. It says, "I'm not an expert. I just watched a lot of YouTube." So that's where I'm at. Definitely not an expert, but there are a lot of experts and novices like me on YouTube to learn from. We are definitely living in a very weird age of people who do not trust those who know what they're talking about, but also with the greatest abundance of access to people who do know what they're talking about. And I don't care who you are and what you believe, you probably agree with me. I may not agree with what you think you're agreeing to, but you got to agree that we have the best access to information that we've ever had in humanity's existence. So, exciting times to be living. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Thank you, dear. I'm glad it does. That's what I was hoping. The light level okay, or do I need to turn the light on for the GoPro? Let me just flip it on and see what it does, if anything. Oh, it does make a difference. You know what? I'm going to keep it on for the moment and see whether it looks better or worse in post. Oh, heating up the wrong side of the wrong part of the metal. Way too high up. Let's put her back in there and get it in the right place. Try not to burn off the leaf. I don't remember how many of these that Alex says I need to make. Something like 100, 200, 1,000. I don't remember, but it's a lot of them. If it's 100, then I've got to go at this. I got to make one of these every show, you know, for like 2 years. Now what I'm doing is actually using the edge of the anvil as a fuller. And you can see it draws out the metal nice. Clean it up. I think 1/4 inch actually works fine if you keep your heats right. Let's see. Rise up. Just squaring everything up so I can actually look at it better. Now, if I were Roy, I would spend a lot of time doing this. And one of the best reasons to do it is obviously it keeps your work clean. But I'm also noticing it lets you see your hammer marks better, or maybe even hide them a bit, because you can see the highlights now on the metal. That could help me figure out where I need to hit to clean things up in the future. Like, big old ding right there. So that needs to get a little thinner anyway. Cool. That's, I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and bring out the leaf. I've got enough, yeah, I think I can go ahead and bring out the leaf. Yeah, I thought you would like that, Greg. Also, ended up changing the camera configuration. My primary, Smithy view camera is actually my iPhone. There's a neat piece of software. Um, you can use it for free, or you can give the pittance of $8, and you get rid of their um, watermark, and it allows you to use your iPhone as a webcam. And obviously, the iPhone's camera is fantastic. Furthermore, I was doing the testing and saw that the iPhone's camera didn't require lighting in this dim environment and still got a better image than the GoPro was getting with this small light that I had that actually is from GoPro. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I've now got a big light on there, but I'm going to turn on the little light. There's low mode. Go ahead and pop it up to high mode. That's as bright as it gets, and I just didn't see it making a difference at all in the Smithy. Now on the anvil, let's see if we can, yeah, you can't even really see it on the anvil. However, I've now bought this very well recommended light, and it does a great job, and even has the ability to adjust the temperature of the light. So that's cooler light and warmer light, and I like it just to the warm side. But it does a nice job lighting things up. But as a result, I can now use the 3 cameras situation, and just to me, it looks a lot better than it did before. All right, let's give this a little bit of oomph. There we go. Go ahead and put it on the diagonals. Give it a nice smash. Establish it. Start. I'm not very good with the spreading in such a small area. So let's utilize the fact that I've got edges I can work with and do it that way. Come on. Of course, now it's cold because it gets cold very fast when it's this thin. Okay. Okay, so nobody put in there, I don't know, that's because my wife knew better than to put it in there. She knows what the answer is. Wonder if Greg knows what the first rule of blacksmithing is. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I was wondering if it did. And my wife said it did, and now you said it did, so now I know I will always use it. And this leaf is going to get hot fast. Let me go and get some marking chisel. Unfortunately, my chisel situation is not where it needs to be yet, but I'll make do with this one. All right, we'll clean clean it up a little bit. Now we'll establish a center line. And I'm gonna have to come up with a better way to hold that. We'll have to do the good old blacksmith hold between the legs. I did not hit my thumb, and that is not what the first rule is. Good try. So, and this is a vital thing to know very well before I'll let you come visit the smithy. And that is the first rule of blacksmithing is all metal is hot. And what you did just see there, fortunately, it grazed me in a way that, in a spot on my hand that I actually didn't feel it. What you just saw there is me burn myself. That metal was no longer orange. Now, mind you, I knew that didn't mean that it's not hot anymore. But it was no longer orange, but it jumped. And when it jumped, it hit my hand. Brushed the very side of it very lightly with the very tip of this thing. And that was just enough for it to let me know that all metal is hot. Even that stuff that doesn't look hot anymore because it isn't red anymore. So the first rule of blacksmithing is all metal is hot. And I'm going to tell you, the metal starts getting hot, you can start feeling the heat right here. So look at the length of my metal here. I'm only putting this much of it in the forge, but it travels pretty fast. Now this is small stuff, so it also cools really fast, but it doesn't cool to cold. I'm going to give this a little twist. So I guess I am going to use my twisting wrench. And I'll bring you over here just so you can see what that looks like. Did I point to the right place? I did. So what that involves is first get the wrench where you need it, size-wise. Then we'll place the leaf in there. And what I need is it to be a little more, I'm going to do this when I get it hot. I need it to be a little more square so it lays on the anvil square for me. So. Let's heat up the bar, not the leaf. A little deeper. Yep. All right, good. Have to be careful where I'm heating it. The leaf will twist right off if I'm not too careful. But all we do, grab a hold of it, give it a light twist. There we go. Now it looks like it's square to me. Now you know why I leave the twisting wrench sitting on the water barrel. Let's bring her over here. See if I'm right about it laying flat. It does. Give it a good brush off so I can remember where I started my lines. Okay, there's where I started my line. You can see it right there. Not quite center, so it's not going to be my best work, but it's requires a lot of practice, and I'll get better at it as time goes on. Let's go ahead and heat up specifically that. Lots of angry pixies. There we go. And now that it lays flat, I shouldn't be struggling so much to be able to hit it where I want it to. All right, go ahead and that's my first nick on my anvil. Big dummy. All right. I'm not happy with myself that I just did that. So let's find myself a little plate here I can use to prevent that from happening a second time. Well, I know what I can do. I'll use this one that I had made for my other anvil. I'll just have to flip it over. So you don't want to do any cutting. It's not a big nick, but that's my first nick. Proud moment, not at all. Man, maybe we should have had a wind advisory this week, because it's pretty bad out there. I might have to cut this short. Feels like it's safe enough in here though. But every now and then I see some of my light material in here flying away. No longer virgin anvil, correct. How easy it is to get material hot. All right. Good. And now it's got a couple of little leaf veins. Pretty. And now we have to just give it a little bit of shape. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and finish rounding out the stem. Yeah, that's better. Good. Did not burn my leaf off. For any gamers that happen to be out there watching this on Twitch, what you're seeing me do is add facets to a previously square stock. To relate better to what you're used to thinking about, think of it as polygons. And the goal for me is to make as many facets or polygons as necessary to make it go from square to round, or at least round enough for the human eye to not get stuck on any specific facet, much like we hate seeing polygons in games where we actually expect to see things that are round or smooth. Now, I don't want this to be completely smooth round because I want it to look like an organic thing, but I want it to look pretty close. So what you end up doing is, as it starts cooling off, you don't, the metal doesn't move quite the same way anymore. And as a result, you actually start getting rid of the facets instead of adding more. And I think that's plenty of stem at this point to turn into a the hardest part right now is I have this one facet close in at the stem that I'm struggling to make disappear. That seems pretty close. You guys can probably see just as well as I can with this camera what I'm talking about. Now, what you saw a lot of what I just blew off the anvil was oh shoot, I've now forgotten what it's called. It'll come back to me in a second. But I'm brushing off more of the same on the leaf. What you saw on the anvil came mostly from the stem, because as you work it, forge scale pops off. Forge scale is basically high-speed rust. So the oxygen and the iron combine, and they basically create, with the heat, rust like instantaneously. So now, the next thing he does, I have not gotten good at yet. I'm going to try it anyway. But what he does is he ends up doing, when I say he, I'm talking Alex Steele, he ends up turning this with a pair of pliers. That's what I need to do. I need to bend this, and then he turns it, and as he turns it, it basically just twists off into this nifty little curly Q. I'm going to try to do it. And I have to say, I definitely have made these with bigger stock. I've never made it with this stock before, but I like the delicateness of what this stock is coming out with. I might have to continue making it with this stock for a little bit. It makes me, it doesn't take as long, it doesn't take long to heat. That's one of the benefits. And it makes me be very careful about my heat control. It also requires more finesse with the hammer because I've got to get into tighter places. So it might be a good size to keep practicing with for a little bit. So I've been tempted. Hand crank is easy. There's nothing hard about the hand crank. The problem with the hand crank is if I'm not there turning it and I don't have a bellows monkey on hand, we're not getting forging heat out of the forge. And with that in mind, I've been thinking about using an underpowered leaf blower we have. We now have a much more powerful leaf blower as my forge blower. And the reason is simply because it's battery powered. And see if it could actually, do the trick. But I'd have to come up with a way. I don't think I would want to just completely remove this permanently. I don't know. I have to think about it, because what if I run out of battery, right? Now I have to have another battery. I have plenty of batteries, so I might be overthinking it. All right. So what he does is he bends, that's what I forgot first off, is he bends over, and then he grabs it. Let's see if I even have the right tongs for this. Well, this isn't hot enough at this point. Yeah. Let me get it hot again. A tong song? Ferrous oxide, yes, absolutely. Instant rust. That does bring to mind a song, but it's not about tongs. I'll have to give that some thought. Tongs. Tong to tong. Time to add some more. What time we got? Yeah, because we got another hour here. And after this, I can smooth out a little bit more rebar. There we go. We're going to have a lot of angry pixels off of that. I just crunched it up in a bunch of dust. All right, let's see what heat we got right this second. That's not enough. Buried in there. Make some angry pixies. Dear, I think if I were to have a monitor for chat, just so I could see what chat there is, I'd want to put it like right there in the eaves. And I think it would be out of the weather there too, safe enough out of the weather there, because it would be so high up. And I would basically have to run a long, a long cable down to make it work for me. But I'd actually want it mounted there, so, and then have the text really big, just specifically for me to be able to see what's going on. Yep, those are hot, angry pixies. All right, let's see if I can do this. Grab it. Well, that didn't go the way I hoped. I got a nice curly Q all right, on the wrong side. That's pretty. Not useful for what I was trying to do. So I'll have to go watch his video again to figure out what in the world he did. Instead, I have that. All right, now I got to straighten that out, do a little cleanup, make something pretty on the end different than that, and then I can turn it into a ring. Let's see if I can lose that in there, considering it all looks the same once it's in the fire. I can't even look over at my camera because the pixies will take my eyes out. There we go. All that charcoal dust and ash finally burnt and blew out. There we go. Helps if I use the correct side of the hammer. Fortunately, with round bar, twists almost disappear, especially if you spend a little time doing what I'm doing now, which again is just planishing the metal to take out all those facets and any weirdness that developed in the material as I was accidentally twisting the wrong part. There we go. I'll end up tapering the end to the point to a point so I can then turn it into a little curly Q. Then we'll just bring her around. And it doesn't take a whole lot of force at all, so I don't have to swing the hammer to work a material this small. I could probably do the work with a jeweler's hammer. Cool, the new charcoal is coming. Okay, did I just lose my piece? There it is. The downside of working small stuff is it's easy to lose in your fire. And this anvil is going to go somewhere else. It's in my way here, but did good at keeping just the right spot hot. And this is like making a nail. Because all I'm doing here is the same thing as what you would do when you're making a nail. Bring it to a nice sharp point, and the only reason I'm doing that is it'll look prettier when I actually scroll it. And that's going to get hot really fast. Got a really good heat deep down inside the forge today. Really fast. Now we're just going to round it because that was brought to a point by being made square. So then we take it to octagonal, and then we just give it a little roll because it's so tiny that any other attempt to do anything here is not going to work out. There we go. And now we've got a leaf-shaped toothpick. I wouldn't use it right now. It'll cauterize all of the gum area, but leaf-shaped toothpick in that. The other side is leaf. Tong control. They tell you about hammer control. They don't tell you about tong control. It's like Paw Patrol, but with a lot less, cute authoritarianism. So, there we go. I'm gonna turn it back around again. Get it hot again, and then make a little scroll. And why a scroll? Because I think plant things look more plant-like when they have scrolls. Yes, I'm sure he does. There'll come a time, though. They all balk to authority after a while. All right. And I didn't burn it off. That's the nice surprising thing. Scrolling is a fun thing to do. It really is. It's a fun skill. See if I broke that off here in a second, but let's warm it up again. It's easy to burn that off because I made it so sharp. Very important I don't put too much heat in it, but give it just enough heat so I can actually do the rollover smoothly. I got some really good heat down in the deep in the forge. I didn't burn it off. Yay! All right, so we're going to go ahead and bend it again. It is not the smoothest scroll I've ever done, but it isn't bad. And I'm very happy with how tight I've been able to keep the tip without burning it off. So before I press my luck too far, let's go ahead and brush that off and turn it into the ring I need. Yep. As another smith I like to follow would say, it's now drop forged. And unfortunately, his name is slipping my mind right now. Joey? I know his name. He's out there in the Netherlands, I believe. Does a lot of work with wrought irons and just very talented. Now, a nice cheat that I often do is instead of sitting here wire brushing a whole lot, I'll end up breaking out the good old wire wheel. All right, warm this last little bit up, wrap it around, and this will be done. Let's see if I can do it in the one heat. Without burning it up. Or losing it in the bottom of the thing. Let's do this. Let's start by pulling all this stuff where I want. We're getting enough wind that what you're seeing is a downdraft, which is unusual on my chimney. All right. Because of the size of what I'm dealing with, this might be best to do with scrolling tongs rather than the horn of the anvil, but I'm going to try to do it with the horn of the anvil. I don't know if it's the charcoal or what, but we've got a good fire today. Yep, that's what I thought. It doesn't want to behave the way I want it to. Go ahead and put it back in the fire. We're almost there. Didn't get it done in one heat because of trying to do it with the wrong tool. It's the same brand of charcoal, so I'm not sure. They all bark to authority. Wait a minute. What plant is a wizard? I know of magical plants, and that's what I was afraid was going to happen. Let's see if I've actually burnt it up or just lost it. There's my piece. Did not burn it up. Hallelujah. Well, we missed you last night, Greg. I hope you're feeling better. At least that's what I understood, as you were not feeling well. Fortunately, we survived without you. But it was a close thing at points. I have the wrong tongs. Tong, ta-dong, tong, tong. For this job. Alright. This is why I need to either make a new pair or fix the pair that are sitting here broken, that are flat jaws. When you get into this tiny stuff, I don't think anything really, maybe there's another type of tong I need to know about, but I don't think there's any that really work as well. There's just good old pair of flat tongs, flat jaw tongs. All right. Yeah, Wind, you're causing me some hassle. I'm glad I didn't try to do this last week when the winds were even worse than this. Okay, got an idea. This is one of those times when I wish I could just reach out with my hand and grab the silly thing. Would be a bad idea because the first rule of blacksmithing did not go away. Oh no. Which camera died? The GoPro, of course. All right. I think I can fix that. This is where we do this for the time being. And we do this. because that's not going to do you any good. And we realized that the GoPro is cool, but has its shortcomings. I just realized that what I forgot to bring. Oh no, there it is. That'll do. That'll do. Laptop can live without it for a little bit. Bring the GoPro back online again. As simple as give it some juice. It'll take a few minutes, so we'll let that do that for a minute while I continue what I was working on. Let's see if letting it soak. Good news is I wasn't adding heat, so now I just got to find the blasted thing again. Okay. Nope. I have completely lost my workpiece. Ah, there it is. Whew. All right, let's try this again. Looks like I need to stoke a fire before I can do that. All right. There we go. At this point, the GoPro should be ready to come back on again. Yeah. There's that. Take it back to that. Get my fire back up and running again. I appreciate anybody who hangs out here and puts up with the technical difficulties I do to work on all this. Ah, you were just up too damn early. Got it. At some point, I'm hoping I get to the point where I know where all the intricacies are with this stuff, so that the technology fades into the, into the background like it should. But it just goes to show you that even we folks who are supposedly tech wizards struggle with technology. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Quickly, I'm going to cool off the this curly Q, and then maybe I will be able to use my anvil for this. Yeah, look at that. That actually worked. Nah, that's a much more smooth curve around. I need to open it back up again, so I'll take my tong clip that I made up. You guys saw it bend out of shape last week, or not the week last week, the week before. But I got it back into shape again. Go ahead and put it back on again. I'm actually using the tongs as a bit of a heat sink to prevent the leaf from getting too hot. So and again, we'll cool off the curly Q so I can hit it without deforming it. Come in here, tap, hit all the way around. That's the tiniest little keychain, but I think it suits. I think that is considered done. Give her a little brush off. That's that part. Turn it around. Yeah, I think I might have to call it a wrap here soon. With the way these winds are going, it might not be safe to be out here. But I can't leave the fire that I just put more coal on, because you can see it's a sparky thing. I might have to dump some water on it. Good news is, wet charcoal burns too. You just got to put it on top of dry charcoal that's already hot. Look at that. Nice and shiny. Got a nice little curly Q. I like it. I'm happy. I call that like number 2. I think I've made 2 of these so far. I tried to make a third and broke off the leaf. One of these is sitting on the key ring of a dear friend. Now I got to figure out who wants to have this one. Maybe my wife wants one on hers. This one's very delicate looking. She's not going to put any eyes out with this without effort. It still has the appropriate pointy bit though. Or maybe I save it for a subscriber giveaway. This is a tip I've told before. I'll always tell it. Remember, all metal's hot, so I've been busy quenching my tongs, and I just quenched the keychain, and just to make sure it's not hot, I'm just using the back of my hand to feel it, and then I can quickly tap it. Safe to touch. John Switzer is the one that taught me about using the back of your hand. As I said, we live in a marvelous time where we got lots of people who they're not necessarily self-proclaimed experts, but they're definitely experts as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and heat it back up again. I just wanted to be able to touch it and show it off. It's tiny, but it'd be perfect to put one of those little loop rings on, or to put on an existing loop ring. And I didn't burn any of the parts off, which I'm really pleased with. I'm going to warm it back up just so I can put a little beeswax on it. So it doesn't take to being forge temperature hot, just needs to be warm enough to melt the wax. Let's see here. I've got a nice big old chunk here, but I think I should slice it into a more usable size. Or not. All right, next time. Or I need a hot knife to cut through it. All right. It should be warm enough to melt wax at this point. If I can get it back out of the fire. Yep. And I'm just doing this so we can have less likelihood of it rusting should it get wet. And the fact that it's smoking means that it's probably be able to get into the run into the pores of the metal. And yes, I'm getting it on my anvil, but that's not really a bad thing. Protecting my anvil is a good idea too. And yeah, I'm definitely going to have to shut down because the heat, the wind has been definitely picking up. And there's probably more wax on here than it's needed, but I'll wipe that off here in a minute. Now that isn't to say that this isn't hot enough to burn me if I'm not careful. All right. Give it a brush. Make it fly across the room. The room's not that big, so it didn't fly far. Now I'm dropping everything. Stay. That's what I get for trying to use scrolling tongs to hold on to things. That's it. I give up. Wire brush it is. Or wire wheel, I should say. That's it. You can see it has the blackening of having been seasoned, as it were, like on cast iron. So it's sealed, but it has the definition because I've been able to clean off the extra. There we go. Yeah, a little bit there I need to clean off. Done deal. So that's going to be it. I'm going to end up, here, I'll even demo. Grab ourselves a, I need to make a holder, turn this into a proper ladle, but that won't be today. You can see I'm backing out real fast because hot steam is, getting scalded with hot steam is no fun. And the good news is I can pull the tweer out, empty it out, it'll be fine. At this point, wind shouldn't cause any combustion to occur. Grab my glove, show you the dial of tweer and the fact that it's now full of water that needs to come out. Water and sludge. Comes out pretty easy. Quench that off because I can. Get the extra sludge out. It's an ingenious design. I really am happy with it. Are there things they could improve? I suspect there are. But I'm really pleased with it. see, the number on here, you want to get it to a 2 or a 1. There we go. Maybe I can back it off to even 0. There we go. And I'll end up burning that charcoal next time. So that's it, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining me today. I'll go ahead and switch over to this one. And then there. I hope you enjoyed that. Found something interesting. And you're welcome to come back and visit with me again next week, when hopefully we will not have a windstorm going on. Light and love to everybody.